Hey everybody, it's me, Zach. This is Judy, and welcome back to our channel. Hey everybody, I am back again because there is another new episode of TLC's critically acclaimed, soon-to-be Emmy-nominated, currently reality TV award-winning television show, The 1,000 Pound Sisters, starring Amy, Tammy, Chris, Amanda, Misty, Amanda's 4 kids, the people that are at the rehab facility with Tammy, just starring anybody these days. Like, TLC, get me on this show. I want to star in the 1,000 Pound Sisters. Give me a role. Find a way to include me. Let's go, besties. I mean, at this point, we're just adding anybody to the show, so I better be on there next season, okay? Do you feel me now, TLC? But anyways, we are back again for another episode. Very excited to get it started and get watching it with y'all, or talking about it with y'all, because I already watched it. And I have lots of thoughts, lots of things to discuss. But first, I'm gonna throw it over to an older Zach, who is gonna tell you about today's sponsor. I just want to say thank you to today's sponsor, which is Scentbird. I've worked with Scentbird for so long now. I really enjoy working with them, and they have helped me find scents that I love to wear and enjoy. I wasn't really a big fragrance user prior to working with Scentbird, and they've really helped me discover new scents that work for me. I've mentioned this time and time again on like Twitch streams and here on YouTube, but my favorite scent that I wear on a regular basis is called Get a Room from Confessions of a Rebel, and I learned about it through Scentbird. But if you're like me and you don't know a lot about it, they help you find new fragrances by sending you a decent sized sample. It's not like small, but like a decent sized travel size portion of fragrance so that you can try something out without having to pay for the full price for a new scent. This month they sent me 3 different scents. One is called Sexual Steel, another one's called Centra, and the last one is called Paragon. And honestly, my favorite scent this month is the one called Sexual Steel, which is maybe fitting for, you know, me, my brand, my channel. It has notes of ginger, rhubarb leaves, lavender, metal accord, and leather, which I'm getting all of that, I think. Just, you know, for me, it's less about what the notes are, and it's more about, like, when you combine them all, do they smell real good? You know what I'm saying? So if you're interested in trying out Scentbird so you can smell real good like your friend Zachary Michael, you can use my code Michael55 for 55% off your first month of Scentbird. Make sure to check out the link down below in my description box if you need help navigating your way to their website. And again, you can use my code Michael55 for 55% off your first month. Thank you so much to Scentbird for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get into this week's episode of the 1,000 Pound Sisters. So this week's episode, besties, it starts off with where we left off last week, which was Amanda and Misty going in to Tammy's home to gather some belongings for her before they go and visit her at the rehab. And as we know, because the previews last week told us, and because there's been a whole E! News article about it, Tammy's house was robbed. It was ransacked, and they took what sounds like almost everything.
Kitchen sink's gone, the bathroom sink, the water heater's missing. They took everything.
And honestly, obviously that is very devastating. I can't imagine what that would be like or feel like to know that like your home and your space was violated, on top of like just having all your stuff gone and not being able to get those things back, especially because some of the things were very personal items and things that like you can't just like replace. I mean, you can replace a bed, you can't replace like a personal family artifact. They give Amy a call and they also file a police report, and I don't really know how to tell you about this clip. I just love all of Amy's facial expressions, and when she's talking about learning about the robbery, she said this.
I'm like, what?
Like, I don't know, her face is just so expressive and it cracks me up. But in general, everybody seems to worried about what this might mean for Tammy and how it might set her back. Like, we already have seen her get set back in the past from other bad things happening, and we also know that she just had a little bit pass away, and also she just recently had a weight gain as well. So we're kind of like concerned in general that like sharing this news with Tammy is not going to be good. And when I say we, I keep saying we're concerned. I mean, I guess as I was watching the show, I was concerned. But when I say we, what I mean is Amanda, Misty, Amy, and company. And interestingly enough, this was an E! News article, and it literally got brought up to me today by my trainer. Like, I was working out, and he was like, by the way, I somehow stumbled into your corner of the internet, and I saw this article about how one of the 1,000-pound sisters got robbed. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't remember E! News or anybody really dropping reports about things that were happening on the show in past seasons. Like, anytime anybody ever used to reference an article to me, it was always from some, like, gossip tabloid site that was literally just trying to clickbait for views on their website. So I am curious about why this is happening this season. I would guess maybe TLC's trying to drum up some views. I don't know what the ratings are like for this show. I just assume they're good. We're on season 4. People love Amy and Tammy's. I don't know, but I did think it was interesting. And I also think it was interesting that Amanda made the connection to how badly Tammy wants to go home, but doesn't really have a home to go home to right now.
She doesn't even have a place at this point, and all she wants to do is come home.
Just because I didn't even think about that. Like, I didn't even think about how much the show this season has focused on Tammy wanting to be at home and realizing that, like, she doesn't really have that option right now. There's nothing there for her. The next segment of this week's episode is a little segment where Amy and Michael are putting together some signs because they're gonna do a YouTube video with Tammy where they do a name reveal of the baby.
Look what I did. What the pickle? And beach. Yes. No, and then the baby's sexual need.
The timeline on this show is so wonky because she talks about in this segment about how she's 8 months pregnant, how she's gonna have the baby in a month. But it's literally just been 3 episodes since we learned that she was pregnant to begin with. Like, things are moving so quickly on a timeline I don't even 100% fully understand on my own right now. But yeah, they're apparently gonna film a YouTube video because y'all know how I feel about this. I said if they really try to act like these girlies are still on YouTube at this point, like, that's so goofy to me. It really doesn't make any sense to me because we know that they're both not on YouTube like that as much these days. If anything, Tammy's on TikTok, and if anything, Amy is only posted about stuff that she gets sent in the mail. Before they get to filming this YouTube video, they have a conversation about how Amy needs to start eating better, and I have to say, Tammy did drag her just a little bit.
The boy eats healthier than anybody I know.
Including yourself.
I bought an air fryer and everything.
Oh, wow, Jessica.
I gotta cook good choices and eat good choices.
And when are you gonna start doing that?
But to be fair, like I've always said with this show specifically, these people all need to worry about themselves before they worry about one another. I just got done flying a whole bunch for my birthday weekend. I flew to Vegas. And this is just fresh in my mind, but it's giving big energy of, like, put on your own oxygen mask before you put it on your kids, okay? They get ready to start filming this, and I swear to God, Tammy just looked so miserable. like, just look at this photo right here, and look at her general demeanor that she had right before they started filming this. And honestly, I should have known because that really set the tone for the whole scene. And while I do think that this YouTube video filming thing is dumb as hell because, like, what I already said, it was probably one of the funniest segments of this week's episode for me personally. But I have to say, this YouTube is so not serious whatsoever. They literally show a shot of Michael recording on an iPad where you can tell that he's not even actually recording whatever Tammy is doing because the iPad Tammy is on is geared towards the actual camera that's filming the TV show.
Hey y'all, it's Amy.
And Tammy.
And today we're doing a baby name review.
I said, what are you naming your
That's
son?
what we're gonna find out. You're gonna ask me, like,
Stop cutting in.
Outside of that, obviously this isn't even on either of their YouTube channels, but I digress. And Amy finds it really difficult to film with Tammy while she's on the iPad because of situations.
Being on the phone is extra hard because you got internet situations, you got people coming to her room, you got miscommunication all the way around.
And also probably just because Tammy is in a badass fucking mood.
It's not a movie, it's a TV series.
I don't watch I ain't got cable.
Damn.
What?
Ask me some G names.
I'm not asking nothing.
So after Tammy is clearly just like not interested in really playing this guessing game with Amy, she shares that the baby's name is Glenn. And then Amy holds up the bitch sign she made, and Tammy hangs up on her quicker than she hung up on Dr. Connie last week.
Bitch.
I'm done.
But truly, this scene, I feel like just provided so many clips that I wanted to include in this video. Like, I just thought there was so much funny stuff that happened. And that includes Amy needing to call in a special kind of exorcist for Tammy.
We need a bitchercist. Instead of exorcist, we need somebody to exorcise the bitch out of Tammy.
I don't know how I'm gonna use it, but I'm gonna start using the word bitchercist. Like, that shit is so funny to me. We get one short clip of Tammy doing a weigh-in just by herself, and 3 weeks ago, whenever that was in the chronological order of this show, she was at 583.9 pounds, and in this clip, she is down to 560, so she is 10 pounds away from her goal at the time of this clip. And she's happy to be so close to meeting her goal for Dr. Smith, but she also knows that she's her own worst enemy, and so she's just already contemplating and thinking about all the things that could go wrong prior to meeting her goal. We get one segment this episode with old Chris, and it is a segment where Amanda's kids, Chris's nephews, set up an obstacle course for him to run in to help him work towards his goal of getting skin surgery on the show. And I will say real quick, I didn't cover this while it happened or when it happened on Instagram, but back like maybe this past summer, at some point, Amy posted a photo of her siblings, and I think like one or two of her nephews, Amanda's children, at a concert for a band called Confederate Railroad, which I don't know, that name I think in 2023 is a little bit sussy. Well, I think the concert happened in 2022, but I digress. And one of the kids, one of Amanda's children, was wearing a Trump 2020 hat in the photo. I think I probably at some point have this up here on the screen somewhere around me. Anyways, people were upset about it at the time, both for the hat and the name of the band, and I'm sure you are all very smart and can figure out why people would be upset about that. So, I don't know. I think I had meant to mention that last week and forgot. And also, like, it was not a big enough story on its own to make, like, a whole YouTube video about it. But I do remember when it happened, a lot of people sent me DMs about it, and they were like, can you believe this? Can you believe this? And it's most likely that I was just covering some other person on YouTube shenanigans at the time and couldn't prioritize making a whole video about one Instagram post from Amy. So in case you didn't know, now you know. Anyways, the kids made Chris a workout shirt with some redneck abs on it.
Hey man, I be liking this redneck ab.
There you go.
Right there, baby. That's the only
Belly
way.
button's a little bit too small. You shouldn't even see
No, but it's hanging in about the right place.
And they also did a confessional moment of just the nephews. And when I tell you these kids look like a younger, more Kentucky version of the men from the cartoon King of the Hill, y'all know what I'm saying?
Back in the day, Uncle Chris looks really good. He's had an overwhelming change in his life.
Are you proud of him?
I am very proud.
Yes, I'm very proud.
And Chris comes out in his new little fancy shirt, and Amanda says that he looks like Richard Simmons.
He looks like Richard Simmons. Slim to the booties. I love it.
And I'm not not seeing it, Bessie, so Amanda, I'm gonna need you to go apologize to Richard Simmons immediately. So he's doing this goofy obstacle course and they're just like squirting water out of water guns at him. And they also have him trying to like pull one of them on a pool floaty.
Oh, come on, Chris, you got this. Big, strong man. Come on, Chris. It ain't going nowhere.
That's a lot of ass to be pulling. I wish that thing would pop.
I don't know. Honestly, this whole segment was just filler for me. I just like really could not care less. I couldn't care less. I always mix that up. Yeah, I couldn't care less about this segment. It didn't really add anything for the show for me. And I also didn't think it was as funny as like the filler content of when Amy and Tammy were filming their little silly video. You know what I'm saying? So I'm good. I'm good on the random obstacle courses. I don't know that I need that again. And then after this, they do this weird like back and forth and back and forth and back and forth in the episode between what's happening with Amy and Michael and what's happening with Amanda and Misty going to visit Tammy. And I honestly think it would be so confusing and unhelpful for me to just go back and back and back and forth like they do in the episode. So I'm going to talk about what happens with Amy and Michael first, and then I'll talk about Amanda and Misty going to visit Tammy at the rehab facility. I don't know if I needed to tell you all that, but I guess wanted to let you know in case you were like mentally following along with the episode in your head that I'm gonna diverge from what the episode did because it was confusing and I think it would have made more sense if they just did them each individually separately. You know what I'm saying? So, the Amy and Michael stuff first starts off with Amy providing the most realistic and reasonable pee-pee poo-poo content this show has ever seen, and that's because she's trying to potty train Gage, albeit very poorly.
Look, here's how you use the potty. Look, come here. Oh, I made tinkles.
He's only like 20 months old at the time of filming, according to Amy, which she says is too early. I wouldn't know anything about potty training a child. I couldn't tell you if it's too early or not. But she says it's probably too early, but she's trying to like save herself some time and energy so that that's one less thing she has to do when she has another kid in the house. So it goes unsuccessfully. There's not much more to say about that. But in the show, 3 hours later, Amy and Michael are on their way to the ER to address some like back pains and stomach pains that Amy is having.
I can't barely stand the pain. It's like a stabbing pain in my lower back and just kind of a burning pain on my front half, or like right here.
And I have to say, TLC is so damn dramatic with the music they add over this. Not because it's not a serious moment, but like they literally added the most dramatic music over Amy and Michael just casually walking into the ER. We do get an update from Amy when she's inside the ER that she can confirm that the baby is fine, it's doing well, and that they're gonna go and test some other things to see if there's a problem. So like potentially like her gastric bypass leaking, or potentially something wrong with her gallbladder, something with her liver, something like that. They want to rule out all of those options as well. And honestly, I should have remembered back to the season where Amy was pregnant with Gage to remember that this show is so unfucking serious and goofy because Amy gets discharged and it's just some bad indigestion.
Just really bad indigestion. Pizza sent me to the ER.
It's just like the Chinese.
Just like the Chinese, Gage.
And yeah, this show is so dumb. I mean, I love it. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all, but they literally had the dramatic ass music over all of this just for her to have some indigestion because of some pizza she ate. And they also do show a flashback clip to when she was pregnant with Gage and she went to the hospital because she had some Chinese food that also gave her bad indigestion. It's so goofy. It's so goofy, and I do love it, but it is fucking goofy. And that's really it for the Amy and Michael part of this episode and storyline. Really, the rest of this episode, even though it does go back and forth between the two stories, is all about Amanda, Misty, and Tammy. So we get the footage of Amanda and Misty driving up to see her, and they let us know that the police don't really have any leads. They don't really know who did it, what happened, etc. So very helpful there. And then they also talk about how one of the things that was stolen from Tammy was a quilt from their grandmother. Apparently, Amanda had gifted that to Tammy in the last season, and my ass had already forgotten about it.
So, I wasn't sure if you even have any of Grandma's oak quilts, but...
This is crazy. I legit had a dream you gave me this.
But I'm sure, obviously, Tammy has not forgotten about it. It was clearly something that was very important to her, that she cared a lot about. But I just was like, oh my god, I really had no idea. In my head, like, I was searching the files and I could not find that file in my head until they showed the flashback of Amanda giving it to her. So once they get there, they do some general updates, like Misty and Amanda are like, oh wow, you look fantastic, Tammy, and she updates them on what her weight was the last time she weighed in. And Amanda and Misty are like, all right, girl, we're gonna break you out. Where do you want to go? Where can we go? We're ready to take you. You said you don't like being trapped in here. Let's go somewhere. We want to take you on a joyride. And Tammy's like, I don't think so, bestie. He's like, have you, first of all, thought about how hot it is outside? Second of all, have you thought about my oxygen, my wheelchair? Also, what are you gonna do if something happens with my trick? Neither of you can fix that. And so Amanda and Missy are like, you know what? We surely didn't think about that. You were so right. We will do something here with you at the facility. So they go and play Pacino with Tammy and her friends. And honestly, I had no idea what that was, and Tammy kind of sort of explains it.
So what's the object of the game?
Okay, when they call out the number, you just cover it. Simple, simple.
It has to be for you to get it.
It basically seems like poker, well, not poker at all, bingo with just like playing cards on it. That's what it sounds like to me. And we even get a quick appearance from our friend Lily that was in a couple episodes ago. I don't know how many, I think that was like the second episode. We get to see Lily!
Check them from girl, the only thing crooked over here is my hair.
They also go to the beauty room where apparently Tammy gets like her hair done up and things like that. I think they really just went there because they needed a private place to talk. And on the way there, Amanda runs Tammy into a wall.
Oh, damn.
Jeez Louise.
My bad. I don't drive a car that way. Oh, damn it, Bobby.
And another reason why the editing of the back and forth was so confusing in all of this is that Amanda gave the news about the pizza and digestion update about Amy to Tammy, but like it all was happening simultaneously and didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So I thought that was kind of confusing, but it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? But they also shared the news about Tammy's house getting robbed. Tammy takes it, honestly, surprisingly well.
Before I got sick, I would have been mad and threw a little baby fit. But after almost dying, I'm trying my best to stay focused and positive.
And I just have to say that I have been obviously following them for a long time, and there has been such a shift in how people talk about Tammy in the comments of my videos and in general on the internet. And I think it's because her attitude has clearly changed this season. And this is just like the first season in a long time that I haven't felt like I had to constantly preface everything with, I'm a Tammy Slaton apologist. So I'm glad you're all coming around. I think it's always important, especially on these TLC shows where they are put into situations that even though they signed up for the show, they didn't necessarily ask to be in, where they're asked to be ready on film all the time, and where also their behaviors and actions and words are edited by a team of producers. I think it's important to remember all of that, and that all of these people on this show are also humans. And that's not to excuse anybody. It's just to say that, like, we're watching a TLC reality show that is edited for consumption to be entertaining, and sometimes that's not exactly the same as like all the YouTubers that I cover on the internet who get to pick their own content, edit their own content, and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I hope you can look back on previous seasons with maybe a different perspective about where maybe Tammy was at the time, why some of her behaviors might have been the way they were. Like, not to say that any of those really bad behaviors were okay, but just to understand where she might have been coming from as a human. And with all that being said, let's be very fair in this situation and acknowledge that Tammy was far more rude to Amy for particularly no reason than she was in her response or anger about finding out about the house being robbed, okay? So, you know, I think if we want to be fair, like, her behavior towards her sister for no goddamn reason at all was probably inappropriate, and I would have expected her to respond more positively to Amy than she did to this news of her house getting robbed. So she really is an enigma when it comes to that, to me. But in general, it seems like Tammy is committed to using all of this as an opportunity to get a fresh start. When she finally gets out of the rehab facility, it sounds like she just wants to get new everything, a new place, new clothes, whoever, whatever. The things Amanda says on this show really do crack me up, and she's hoping that Granny is gonna come back from the grave and make this thief's life hell.
I hope they enjoy Grandma's blanket, and I said I hope Granny comes from the grave and then haunts their ass every day. And you know she'd be just the one to do that. She didn't like a thief.
So the very last thing that happens in this week's episode is that right before Amanda and Misty are getting ready to head back on the road back to Kentucky, Tammy asks if they'll come with her for her next weigh-in just to see how she's doing, because she wants them to be able to see her achievements in person, and so she just wants them to come along for the ride. And Tammy ends up weighing in at 534.7 pounds and is technically, by Dr. Smith's specific goal requirement, she has met his qualifications and could be approved for surgery. In fact, she's like 14 pounds under the goal that he gave her, so she's ready to go. And honestly, Misty and Amanda both had me feeling emotional throughout this whole entire segment. They were both genuinely so proud of her.
I'm just so proud of her. I can't say that enough. I'm just so proud of her.
But also, within like almost the same 30 seconds of this television show, Amanda had to remind us that at its heart, at its core, this is a poo-poo show above anything else.
What'd you do, poop?
Not today.
Girl, are you serious?
And Tammy's so proud of herself, she even channels her inner Amberlynn Reed.
I did that.
It does sound like there's some other things that she's still gonna have to do before she can like actually get surgery. In the previews for next week, Dr. Smith alludes to like, hey bestie, you still gotta do all of that therapy with Dr. Connie, so like, you're gonna have to figure that out before we can go and do this surgery. So there's still some other things that have to be done, but it seems like Tammy is on the way to where she needs to be going. And it also really breaks my heart watching her say goodbye to her sisters.
Gonna be all right? No, girl, stop now. You're gonna be fine. Hey, no, now. Listen, right here with me. Look at me. You know, we gotta go through these kind of this bullshit here to get to where we need to be, right?
And literally at one point, Amanda was talking in a confessional and I was in actual tears because I guess once you turn another year older, every year you get older, you cry more. So Amanda had me in tears.
Or she told me, she said, I wish I could see myself through your eyes. And she said, someday I'm gonna love myself like you love me. And I said, well, be ready, because your heart's not gonna be able to contain it. She finally loves herself like I love her.
But I'm so excited for Tammy. I think this is great. I mean, I think all of us who follow along on the internet know that she does eventually end up getting surgery. You can just tell when you see her on TikToks and things like that. But I'm excited for her nonetheless that it's happening right now, right here, whoever, whatever. On that note, it's probably a good question You know, I had some people in the comments last week that were providing feedback of like, you know, this isn't as exciting to watch these days because there is so much that we know about what's already happening for Tammy from what's been posted on the internet. And I'm just curious what your thoughts are about that. I know I do sometimes include updates about what's happening with Tammy or Amy or any of them on the internet. But if that's like something that makes it discouraging to watch the show, just let me know and I can maybe like alter the way that I share that information in these videos. With that also being said, next week it looks like we're gonna get an episode about maybe Amy going into labor, having the baby, something like that. And also maybe some more updates about Tammy and where she's gonna go next from here after meeting her goal. But that's all I have time for today. I just wanna thank Scentbird once again for sponsoring today's video. As a reminder, you can use my code Michael55 to get 55% off your first month at Scentbird. Check out the link down below. Thank you again, Scentbird, for sponsoring today's video. If you're brand new to my channel, make sure to subscribe down below. Hit the bell button so you get a notification every single time I post a new video. Make sure to leave me a comment, hit like, click share, and follow me on all my social media. I had so much fun today. I hope you did too, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!